What is going on, guys? This is Ben here, bringing another Brawl Stars video. Today, we're going to be talking about a major problem in Brawl Stars that needs to be fixed for the longevity of the game and for like the overall health of the game, and I think it would make you guys a lot happier as well. So the major issue is the 3v3 matchmaking, and more specifically, when you solo queue. So let's say you are playing solo and you go into a 3v3 match, let's say on Gem Grab. This is where the issue lies, because when you are going in solo, you don't really know what you're going to get out of your teammates. You don't know their comp, and you don't really know their skill levels. Now, with skill levels, I get that that's going to be a little bit random, where it's like, okay, sometimes your teammates are going to be bad, sometimes your teammates are going to be okay, and sometimes your teammates are going to be good. So that, you have to understand, can't really always be perfected. The matchmaker is going to try and make it as even as possible. Brawl Stars has implemented stuff in the past where they have made it so you're kind of like locked into a certain trophy range, where that's the brawlers you're gonna face. And then they also have made it a little bit harder, where if you're playing solo queue, a lot of times you're gonna be matched up with other solo queue players or people that are playing not in teams, and then teams are gonna be more likely to play against other teams. Now, there is times where you can definitely tell when you're facing a team, like a pre-made team comp and everything, and it's a little bit frustrating, but the issue is you don't know if you're gonna have like an optimal composition, a team comp for that Gem Grab map, or for the Gem Grab in general. Because I feel like the matchmaker sometimes will give you like this is my biggest annoyance and why I really don't like playing solo queue sometimes. Let's say you're playing Gem Grab, where usually the normal roles are like 2 laners and a gem carrier. So sometimes, I'd say more often than not, what happens is you go into a Gem Grab match and you don't have a gem carrier, or you are all gem carriers, and the other team is maybe like more specific, where they have like a gem carrier, laners, and all this other stuff. So I feel like that is a huge issue, and not even that too, where it's like this solo queue matchmaking in general, I feel like it needs to be a better experience, so players are going to want to play that and play that more. Now, you could just say, well, why don't you just, if you're playing solo, just go play Showdown. Well, keep in mind, not everyone enjoys Showdown a lot. There's teaming in Showdown, which we're going to talk about later. That's one of the other problems. And then people kind of get bored, right? They want to test the waters and other things. And then if they have a terrible experience in 3v3 matchmaking, that's going to put a sour taste in their mouth, and it's going to make them not want to play the game. So I feel like this is why this issue needs to be tackled, where even so, if the matchmaker is doing its best job to put like skill levels around in certain parameters in the matchmaker to make it fair, there needs to be an option to where you can either see which brawlers, or like what your comp is going to be before the match, so maybe you can switch up a brawler. So let's say, this is a perfect example, let's say you go into a matchmaker, your team, you're playing Gem Grab, it's Bull, Shelly, and a Rosa. Those are all close range brawlers. None of them are really a designed gem carrier, or they're all basically trying to get closer to brawlers. And I feel like if that happens, you should be able to like change your brawler to like a gem carrier to at least give your team a chance. Maybe you don't have to see the other team's comp at all, because then you could kind of like run a counter brawler. I'm just saying, before the match starts, you see the brawlers that are on your team, and one of you gets the option to switch to like a gem carrier or something else. And not even that, like I also brought up this idea before. Maybe the matchmaker itself defines which is a gem carrier and which is a laner, and then it always tries to, at least to its best of its ability, always tries to put a gem carrier on a team, a laner on a team, and maybe like a tank or something on a team. Like, let's say the parameters are for gem carriers, that's going to be Pam, Penny, Jesse, Poco, Jean. You're always going to try and have one of those on a team if possible. You could put Bo in there as well. Just loosely define the roles, so it's not all just like shotgun brawlers or all just like long range brawlers, you know what I mean? It's a nice little mix up. And then maybe for laners, it could be just like a Nita, Colt. You got get the idea. And then for maybe like a tank, it could be like Primo, Bull could fall in there, Frank, and all that. So it's like the comps for the teams are a little bit better and pre-made, where it's not just like all these random brawlers mixed together, and I just feel like that is a huge issue. So just matchmaking in general, like the one problem is the comps. The other problem is still facing teams. I know they have done a better job of that, where it's less likely you are going to face teams, but I feel like it should just be split matchmaking totally, unless there's just something like there's not enough players to make it where randoms only face randoms, teams only face teams. So I feel like if you're playing as a team, that's just so much of an advantage, where you should rarely play randoms unless like literally you've been matching for a long time and you need to get into a match now. Then I know some of you are thinking, well, why don't the people that are complaining about the matchmaking and solo queuing and all that just try and find teammates to play with and everything? Well, I feel like it's a large majority enough where this is an issue. The reason why is because it's kind of actually hard to find teammates to play with all the time. Like, how often are your friends always going to be available? How often do maybe even some of your... Keep in mind, because not every person that plays Brawl Stars has friends to play with. Like, not everyone maybe has a friend group that also plays, or maybe not everyone's in a good band, or what is it? Band? Brawl? Club? Is in a club and trust people that they're playing with and whatnot. So they heavily rely on just solo queuing in the matchmaker, and like, if that experience is not good or it's not at least enjoyable, maybe they're not winning every match, but at least if they have a chance and they're just not giving like these crappy brawlers on their team, maybe it would be more enjoyable and they'd want to stay and play longer. Because I feel like this was like, let's go back to a Vainglory game. If you guys don't know, Vainglory was like a 3v3 MOBA. Solo queue was an issue in that game as well, and I feel like that's what really hinders the games, is when the matchmaking experience playing solo, because large majority of people are always going to be playing solo in these games. Now, if you're higher up in trophies and you don't want to risk those trophies, that's when you should try and maybe getting into a team and whatnot. I'm just saying for like more of like the casual people that just like, say they have 10 minutes, they're like, all right, I'm going to log on, play some gem grab or something, or play some heist. There should be these parameters set where these comps just don't get destroyed and not optimal brawlers. Because how often do you like it when you are playing Bounty, where it's a total long range map, and you get matched with a Shelly? I feel like there should be some restrictions too, like, be like, are you sure you want to play Shelly on this map? She's not good. Like, I hope there would be something like that, because it's such a frustrating time when it's like the Shelly just keeps feeding and just keeps dying. So you get what I'm saying? And then it goes back to, well, why not just play Showdown? Keep in mind, like, people get bored of that. They want to try other things, and then if they get a sour taste in the other stuff, they might not just not like it. Some other things too is like, maybe there be more incentives for players to join clubs and join all this other stuff, because if people are more incentivized to get like friends and get joining these clubs or whatever, there's a higher chance that they're gonna actually basically have players to play with, and that's gonna slowly but surely slim down on this. Because if there's better rewards to join a club, because right now there's like nothing. The only reward is that you have people to play with, and even if that, it's not huge. It's not like a huge incentive. Like the other Supercell games have so much. I know I've talked about this in the past. So I would really want to see some club incentives to actually join it, whether it be being able to donate stuff, just maybe some other sort of like club wars, or just anything to go on that gets you more rewards in games, or weekly challenges being in a club. Any of that would just be so awesome and beneficial to get players to somehow be able to play with other people. But that's still a secondary thing. I feel like there needs to be just core elements added to the matchmaker to make the games more experienced. Now, obviously, like I said, these are just some of my ideas. What do you guys think for this? I think it's a huge problem, because if people are not enjoying playing the 3v3 and they're only sticking to Showdown, and then when they get to a certain trophy range, there's just teaming that makes it not enjoyable too, it's not a good thing. Because I would say like the 3v3 aspect is probably like what, 75% of the game. If you're only playing Showdown, you're missing out on all the other maps like Siege, Heist, Bounty, all that, because you don't trust teammates. Now let's get into like another problem. It is teaming. Brawl Stars has come out in the past saying they're kind of okay with teaming. They like the aspect of like, oh, you don't know if you're gonna get betrayed or anything. I personally still think it's not healthy for the game. It's not fun when two people are spinning and then just basically they're just teaming, and then you can't do anything. You get cornered, you get locked down. And the one nice thing about this is event modifiers that are catering to like try and stop teaming, but we still have Showdown maps that do not have the event modifiers, and it's kind of crazy how much teaming is going on. And the issue a lot too is like mob teaming, when it's like 5 or more people teaming together. And I feel like the longer range maps really like the problem with this, because like a couple of specific, like Hot Point and Dune Drift, it's like the maps that are kind of like more wide open and spread out, and people kind of like stand their ground on the outside, it tends to have more teamers for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because they're at longer distance and they know there's better odds to control a side of the map. I just feel like a combination of making maps that are maybe less prone to teaming, more event modifiers that favor or just cater towards people that are not teaming. I really like how they did that with the healing mushrooms and the energy drink, because the energy drink spawns like at people that really aren't teaming to help take out all the other brawlers. I hope they bring back Life Leech. If you don't know what Life Leech is, it's basically where everyone's health is slowly ticking down, and if you get a kill, it regenerates all the way up. So it really forces people to not camp, not team, just go for kills. And I feel like that is one of the best modifiers we had to stop teaming, and I really hope they bring that back in the future. Maybe just even adding like small punishments for teaming. Like, I know they said it's gonna be really hard to do to monitor all these matches and whatnot, and if that's really the case, I feel like just keep adding more modifiers and improving modifiers to stop these stop the teaming, because it's becoming an issue where if you get a brawler to a high enough level, you know you're gonna counter it, and it just doesn't sit well when you lose the teamers, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you guys have more ideas how to stop teaming, let us know. And now the third thing that I think is another issue, this is more towards when you've been playing for a while. I know not a lot of players have got to this point yet. It's basically when you get your brawlers over 500 trophies, and so a lot of people don't want to risk playing their brawlers once they get them to 500. I know when I was first pushing all my brawlers to 500 trophies, I would get one and not play that brawler until I got like all of my brawlers to 500 trophies, and I feel like that kind of sucks in a way. I mean, we do have the weekend events to be able to like play whatever brawler you want and not lose trophies, but I feel like there should be incentivized to be able to like more incentivized to like push your brawlers and keep playing, or just different modes to play them, like some sort of end game content to when you get to a brawler to 500 to keep playing it. Because if people just get a brawler to 500 and not play it anymore and just sit on it, I don't think that's a good way to go about it. And then it feels so bad. It feels so bad. Like, say you got your brawler to 500 and then it's called tilting them. Like, say you drop them down to like 480. Say you keep trying to push it back up to 500 and all of a sudden you're down to like 400 trophies. It's the worst feeling in the world. And so I feel like if there was more incentivized to like for stuff to do at the end game of Brawl Stars, not just even the 500 trophies, because like once you get all your brawlers to 500 trophies and get like majority of the skins you want, like what is there besides trophy pushing? And even trophy pushing itself isn't really rewarding. It's kind of just a number at this point. You don't really get any rewards except for like the trophy road, but those rewards are kind of but I don't know, just some sort of end game content for people that are getting there. It's going to incentivize people to want to get to the end game, to play more. It could be like club wars. I mean, maybe more incentivized for trophy pushing. Like maybe there's like an exclusive skin you could get for like if you get to a certain trophies. I really like how Clash of Clans did it, where once you max out all of your cards, you get these star tokens, which are used to like kind of like goldify or skinify your troops, and they have different effects and whatnot. I think that would really be really cool too. Like say you push a brawler 500 and then at the end of the season it gets reset. Like say you push a brawler 600, at the end of the season it gets reset to 550. Those 50 trophies that got reset went towards something, maybe something like similar to that star token system in Clash Royale. I don't know, I just feel like something end game content wise, basically keep players wanting to keep pushing and playing is the best way to go about it. Maybe even like tournaments in the game, or anything like challenges, anything. But the main issue I think is the matchmaker and solo queue, because that is the heart of the player base, and if they're not having a good time, I feel like that kind of hurts the longevity of the game and the health of the game. But we're gonna wrap up the video here. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, if you guys have any good ideas, anything to help with these issues, maybe Supercell watches this video, maybe they don't, maybe they get some feedback, let them know. But thank you guys for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.